Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline.
And Adam.
For Pixie Dust PhD. In today's video, we are going to talk about some things that we absolutely never do when we go to Walt Disney World and probably will never do on our upcoming trips. Whether these are just small pet peeves or really larger principles that we live by in our daily lives and still take with us down to Walt Disney World, we'll be highlighting some things that we absolutely never do. Hopefully these aren't too controversial, but let me know your opinion in the comments down below. Without further ado, let's get to those lists. So we each prepared a list of 5 things, but I actually had a few more, so I'll start with the honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is that I would never bring our dog. So some of this is logistic. Everywhere we've lived so far, we have to fly down to Walt Disney World. We don't drive. So obviously flying with a dog is quite the event. And she's not small. We couldn't fit her under the seat. She would have to go in the belly of the plane, which is something that we want to avoid. But even if we did live within driving distance and we could drive and bring our dog, and there are hotels on Walt Disney World property where you can have your dog, that's totally allowed. And there's even dog daycare sort of near the Ticket and Transportation Center. I just know for our dog in particular, she would be much happier being at home with a sitter or even boarded with a vet or staying with a family member or something like that. When we go to Walt Disney World, it's really about us. And I would feel really guilty knowing that my dog was in the hotel room or at Walt Disney World's pet daycare center while we were off having fun. The second honorable mention is that I have never ridden Kali River Rapids, and I probably won't ever, except I think I might do it once just to say that I have. But basically, I really hate water rides when you're not in a water park, and if I was going to submit myself to that kind of torture, I would go on Splash Mountain, not Kali River Rapids. But like I said, maybe I'll do it once, which is why it's an honorable mention.
Better hurry up on Splash Mountain, right?
Well, it's still going to be there. It's just going to be rethemed. Yeah, it's still going to be a water ride. You're still going to get wet. I'm still not going to want to do it.
Log flume, drop, you get wet.
No, not a fan. Okay. And similarly, I have never bought a Mickey balloon, and I probably never will except maybe once. Just to say that I have. So we don't have a kid, we don't have a stroller, there's nothing to attach it to. And like I said, we fly to Walt Disney World. It's not like we can bring it home in the car very easily. And they're really cute. I think they're $12 to $15 depending on which kind you get. So it's a little expensive for a balloon. It's not that expensive in terms of a souvenir from Walt Disney World. But yeah, just the utility of it for us is pretty low. But I do kind of want to buy one once, just to say I have. So getting into the actual list, number 5 for me is doing a resort-only stay at Walt Disney World. I know a lot of folks do this and love it, and the resorts are super fun, don't get me wrong. But if I was wanting to go on a very relaxing vacation, I just wouldn't go to Central Florida. I would go to the mountains or to the beach or on a cruise, something like that. I think also I would have serious FOMO, so feelings of missing out, if I was doing a resort-only stay and not going into the parks. I would honestly rather just scrap vacation that year and save up enough money for next year to be able to buy those park tickets along with being able to lodge at Walt Disney World.
Something that I would never do in the Magic Kingdom, for me personally, is go on the Tomorrowland Speedway. It is loud, it is smelly, and it is right out in the sun. So really it is one of the least attractive attractions for me.
Even if it was a walk-on?
Even if it was a walk-on. I would skip it and wait in line for Space Mountain because it is so much better.
There you go.
Well, maybe not every time, but you know, it's a great ride.
Number 4 for me is there are a lot of fan favorite food items that I am never going to eat. So for example, Casey's Corner. I don't eat hot dogs. I'm never going to eat at Casey's. The Tonga Toast from the Polynesian. Similarly, I hate bananas, so I'm never going to get the Tonga Toast. And on a sort of a bigger scale, I'm probably never going to do a dinner show, so Hoop-Dee-Doo Review or Aloha Spirit. It takes a really, really long time, and time is money when you're at Walt Disney World, and I just don't enjoy dinner shows enough to really make it worth it for me time-wise and cost-wise. They're not cheap.
So speaking of time and food and drink, I'm never going to a Starbucks in Disney World for coffee. You know, I might go in there for a souvenir mug or something at like 9 o'clock when they're still open. But just for coffee, at a time I would normally drink coffee, it's just way too busy.
Yeah.
You know, the line of parents and strollers goes on for miles, and I really don't think it's a good use of time.
Agree. Building off that food theme, for me, number 3 is eating all of my meals at table service restaurants. So I know some families love to do this, and absolutely it's a great break from the heat to go in and sit down and sit in the AC and take a break. But it's so much food. It's way too much food. 3 meals of table service restaurants is just, it makes me want to hurl thinking about it. And again, it's incredibly expensive and it takes a ton of time. So that's not something I'd ever imagine we do. We do normally do 1 table service meal a day, and I think I could probably be convinced into 2 if it was like brunch and then a late dinner, but 3 is just a straight no-go for me. I'm never gonna do that.
Yeah, it's just way too much food for any person to consume. And for me, something that I really never do are the really physically intensive things like Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. You're already walking, 20,000 plus steps a day. Why add a bunch of stairs to the mix? And there's several other attractions too that can kind of fall into that territory of make the kids lose all their energy. Even if it's like something adults are supposed to do for a view, no thanks on my Walt Disney World vacation.
Yeah, you can find me hanging out on a bench instead. Number 2 for me is another popular thing I think a lot of folks do, but it's a rope drop to park close. You will never find me doing that. I do not have the energy for that. I will get extremely cranky. I like taking a midday break. I value my midday break. It makes my vacation so much better. So you will never find me doing rope drop to park close, no breaks, nothing in between. Congrats to all of you who can. I'm not one of those people.
And speaking of cranky, the cranks that crush the pennies? I'm never doing that. And I can't think of a reason why I would do that. If you want a cool souvenir, buy a balloon like Jacqueline thinks she never will.
Really? Pennies?
Yeah, it just seems so useless to me. It's like,
I mean, it's a really cheap souvenir, though.
It is a cheap souvenir.
It's like 51 cents.
True, but
some of them are automatic too now. You can like push a button and it'll pop it out for you. You won't have to crank it.
I feel like I would lose it or put it in like a piggy bank by accident.
Okay.
And again, it's just something I don't see myself ever doing.
Souvenir pennies are not for Adam.
Not from Disney. And plus there's so many of them too.
Yeah.
It's just like really saturated the market for me.
Okay. And the number 1 thing that I absolutely don't do in Walt Disney World is wait in lines that I deem aren't worth my time. So like Adam was saying earlier, I would never wait in that coffee line at Starbucks first thing in the morning. It does move kind of fast, but that's still just a really, really long line. You can get coffee elsewhere. And similarly, if we don't get a fast pass for Flight of Passage, then I'm not riding it. I'm not going to wait 2 or 3 hours in the standby line to ride an attraction. It's just not worth my time. So in general, for attractions, I would say anything more than about 45 minutes, maybe an hour, if it's a brand new attraction that I haven't been on yet, that's my max. And past that, I'm out.
And for me, something that I really never do or don't think I will ever do is see the really outdated animatronics. I'm there in Disney as an escape. It's going to be a fun vacation. I don't need to go to Country Bear Jamboree and see, really old animatronics just really not entertain me. Maybe a place cool to hang out. But you usually have a lot better options, more updated options to do. And really, there are never any waits for these types of shows. All you do is wait till the next one.
Mm-hmm. Number 1. You want to say anything about the Hall of Presidents?
It's closed, right? No,
it probably is closed right now for pandemic.
Right.
I mean, pre-pandemic, it was open.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's funny. I can't believe that's your number 1.
Well, don't want to bring politics into it, right?
It's fine. To each their own. Okay. So those are our top 5 things that we never do at Walt Disney World, along with a couple of honorable mentions from me because I couldn't cut my list down to just 5. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell icon for notifications whenever I post new videos. And if you're a returning viewer and subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate the support. Let us know in the comments down below what you never do in Walt Disney World. And also, try not to roast us too hard if we offended you. I hope you're having the loveliest of lovely days, and we'll see you real soon at Pixie Dust PhD.